Hey guys, it's Yoki here, and welcome to the channel for my initial thoughts and impressions on the version 1.5.3 update that has recently dropped for Automobilista 2. We're going to be testing the AI around Virginia International Raceway for a 6-lap race, so let's go ahead and get into it. Alright, manual rolling start, starting from P17 on the grid. Going to be starting in second gear, just waiting for that green light. We're driving in the classic GT class, driving the mighty Chevrolet Corvette C3R as we come into the first turn, catching one of the AI there, locking the brakes a little bit, and trying to get the power down on the exit as well. That's a nice lovely 550 odd raging ponies underneath my right foot, wanting to unleash themselves whenever I apply the throttle, and as you can see, it makes the rear of the car squirm and wiggle around for some good fun. But there we go, there's a gear there. But yeah, initial impressions so far from the first few corners, there does seem like some improvements to the AI. They are much neater and tidier than they were previously. There's not quite so many big, large pile-ups like there used to be, which is good to see. So they're cleaner in that regard. And I think maybe a little bit they're a little bit more difficult to exploit their slowness into the first couple of corners. I mean, they are still quite slow, and it's still possible, but it's not quite as bad as it used to be. And here you can see the interesting dynamic that is unfolding in this GT class around this circuit. Porsche's much smaller, lighter, more nimble. They don't have quite as much horsepower. I think it's the region of 300 and something odd that the car produces, so they're not as quick on the straights, especially compared to the Corvettes. But the Corvettes are much bigger, heavier, nowhere near as good in the corners, but they've got all the power and all the grunt for the nice long straights. So should be an interesting dynamic here, is still side by side with that AI, but now they do eventually concede the position. So it certainly looks like there are some general improvements with regards to the AI. Cleaner on the first lap, slightly more difficult to exploit their first corner slowness, but that could just be this particular scenario here at VIR, sorry. Almost going and missing a gear there. Just about managing to sneak through before the S's to gain that place. Yeah, in case you're wondering, the AI's difficulty is set to 115% and their aggression is set to high. Oh, the rear end really wanting to go around there as it's kind of on the brakes, on the throttle, doing all the things to upset the car. But we managed to gather it back under control. But there are still the odd little quirks here from the Madness engine with the AI. In terms of their movement, slightly jerky in a few places. They still dip their wheels onto the grass as well. And at times they're a little bit twitchy and a little bit shaky, but you can see it looks like there's a bit more variation in terms of the lines that the AI take. They're not quite as robotic as they used to be. However, there are some places like this corner here where the AI lift off when they probably don't need to. There you can see the Porsches braking a little bit later than I am, although we left quite a bit of room on the inside there, so we'll try and take that and try to get this power down. Can we nose ahead? We can, but we can't get it tucked into the corner, so they're there very much on the inside. Still side by side. Oh, he's got me around the outside here. Yep, there was that little wiggle that the AI generally tend to do. So there are still the odd quirks here and there. When we sneak past this Porsche, yep, we managed to actually perform a clean shift that time. And we are through, taking plenty of curb. Oh, that's my first track limits. No, second track limits morning. Never mind. Oh, come on. This is... I gotta say, it's good fun driving this car. It does feel nice. I'll come on to the handling and the force feedback in just a second. I just want to finish up with the AI. But some further improvements that I would like to see. I'd like to see them deviating from the lines a little bit more, trying to make overtaking maneuvers, as at times they do kind of just sit behind and sit and ride the brakes. I mean, that was pretty good by the creamy yellow Goodyear Porsche up in front. They did have a bit of a look at the Porsche in front of them, which is good, but I want to see a little bit more of that. AI actually threatened to make moves. I'd like to see them not give up on the position against the player quite so much. I mean, you can have good racing battles with them, but sometimes they are just a little bit too easy to make them concede the position. And then the last thing I'd love to see is the AI defending, like actively defending, deviating from their line and trying to break the slipstream or cover the inside line going into a corner, and seeing the AI react to that as well. If they're there in the slipstream and the AI in front's trying to break the toe, seeing that AI behind trying to follow them across the circuit and stick in the slipstream, that would be fantastic to see. But otherwise, physics-wise, it certainly seems like an improvement. They've been continuously improving the AMS2 and kind of moving it away from how Project Cars 2 used to feel, putting their own stamp on the physics and fixing some of the issues that the Madness engine had back in the day, which is fantastic to see. And generally the force feedback feels like it's improved further again. I know they've made some more tweaks, but it continues to feel just a little bit more intuitive, a little bit more informative as well, and a little bit clearer, which is nice to see. You can see the Porsche is so much better on the brakes. So there's some definitely improvements there, but where I used to be a designer on Project Cars 2, for those of you that didn't know, as well as Project Cars 3 and the unannounced, that is never going to be released, Project Cars title that got cancelled by EA at the end of last year. There's quite a bit of Project Cars 2-ness that I notice within the game, and I find it difficult to shake off, as it did help design quite a lot of areas, and I seem very, very similar design traits, the same sort of UI style, UI flows. Obviously they put their own like aesthetic to it, but the overall flow and kind of user experience is still very much Project Cars 2 that I and a few others had designed. And there's a number of other features as well in the game that are very similar, and I'd like to see Reza kind of put their own stamp on it. I'd like to see them improve the sound design, and I think that's one of the things that I think was weak in some areas in Project Cars 2, and is still weak here. The overall car sounds are good, however, I think the kind of atmosphere doesn't really fit reality, and there's other games that do it a lot better. I feel like I'm in a race with other cars, but I don't feel like I'm in a race car myself. I don't get that isolated experience where it feels like the car is producing all the noise and blocking out the noise of everything else that's going on around you. It's things that iRacing does quite well, as well as ACC and a few other titles. Ooh, tagging that Porsche there, didn't mean to. Where you get this isolated experience, you feel like you're in a race car, and it's so loud and so violent that it just drowns out everything else unless you're in very, very close proximity to another car. Then you'll hear it. It's the kind of experience that you see on YouTube when watching onboards, and they've got good high quality microphones. You don't really hear the other cars unless you're within, say, 5 to 10 meters of them. I haven't raced against other people. I have driven 1 or 2 race cars in my time, but getting that isolated experience will be great. I do know, and it's quite clear to see, that this car does have no side windows, but like, I can still hear other cars now, even though I'm not overly close to any of them, almost louder and clearer than I can hear my own engine, which does kind of ruin the immersion a little bit. It'd be great to see Reza work on that and improve that. I think that would be a fantastic update for them. But overall, my initial impressions are good. I'm starting to enjoy Automobilista 2 a little bit more. As I said, I kind of find it difficult to kind of shake the feeling of Project Cars 2 off, having seen so many similarities, but slowly, oh, that was a tag by the AI there. Slowly but surely, Reza are putting their own stamp here on this game and moving it away from the Project Cars 2 base that they started off with. So keep up the phenomenal work, Reza. Keep doing your thing, and hopefully AMS2 will continue to grow to be a fantastic product. I mean, it is a fantastic product. I'm really, really enjoying it. Like, that race was a ton of fun. This car was such a joy to drive. But we want to see more of this goodness. I want to see more. I want to keep pushing, guys. Keep pushing. Doing good things here, and I'm excited for the future of AMS2. So that is my initial thoughts and impressions for now. Please give the video a like if you enjoyed it, and hopefully I shall see you in the next one. Until then, have fun, stay safe, and take care.